on display. The EVP show keeps the drama in play. It's good. Let's go, where the heroes rise and the legends grow. CJP brings the shots, you know. The EVP show is out of control.
What is going on, everyone? It's the EVP from the EVP show, and I'm here. I know that the post conference is still going on with Triple Fraud. Still talking live. Obviously, I was contemplating whether even going live tonight. Miami his ex was reported, so I'm not able to stream to his ex platform tonight. I will only be streaming live to my YouTube channel and my ex. And obviously tonight was pretty wild. It was pretty bland, to be honest with you. I mean, the live surprise was leaked pretty early on. But the ending, just really, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Honestly, I really don't. You can kind of see where they're going with the story. Obviously, everybody, I'll get to that when we get to the main event, but you can see that everybody's turning on Cody. And it looks like we're headed for a Roman Cody 3 based off the way War Games ended. Obviously, you know, there was a masked person involved and all that. Sorry if I'm not myself. I was kind of dealing with an idiot in a chat that creeps women and stuff on X, but always wants to put snide comments out when I am posting reports or stuff that I'm told on a daily basis, which is about 97 or 98% correct. So they can just keep creeping on X and all that and trying to talk to wrestlers, but they'll never be a reporter. Or, I mean, I don't even, they're supposed to have a YouTube channel, but I've never heard of them. So, but yeah. Anyway, the show must go on. And so I will get started with the recap tonight. So obviously, coming into the show, we have 4 matches, but I mean, it was a long night. I mean, the pre-show started at like 5 p.m. Eastern. So we had a 2-hour pre-show for a 4-match card. WWE never ceases to amaze me. You know, there was stuff that was supposed to happen. You know, where was Brie Bella? Where was The Rock? But I guess the stuff with The Rock is going to be something. Well, I know now that it's going to be something that's going to be drawn out all the way to WrestleMania when Cody and Roman fight again, which is 100% the direction they're going. Shout out to the World of Greg for reposting the stream. Like I said earlier, Miami was reported. Don't know who did it, but whoever did it, it's an idiot. Sorry, I'm just not in the best of mood. Somebody pissed me off in the chat earlier. I get one thing wrong and they want to start on, but they would like creep every female wrestler on X. So I'm not going to call them out because, I mean, they supposedly have a YouTube channel, but it is what it is. Once they get on where they can come up, where they can get the stuff I can come up with and get them, maybe they can come talk. But they never comment. They just put yawn emojis. So anyway, so obviously Survivor Series came and went. I feel like this is 2 PLEs in a row that's been on ESPN that for me has kind of been a disappointment. I think ever since they went to ESPN, it's more about, you know, filling the seats and, you know, charging the $38.99 that some people are having to pay for the app, which is just absolutely insane. I don't know. I'm not happy with it. I didn't like the way the show ended. Obviously, somebody in a mask. I mean, it looks like Austin Theory to me. It's not Seth. So the people that saying it's Seth, they're delusional. It was not Seth Rollins climbing that cage that fast. It wasn't Chris Jericho. He's too damn old. He ain't climbing no cage that fast. That person was built like Austin Theory, which Theory was rumored a while back to be joining the Vision. So that look for me, I think. I mean, it didn't even look like Seth Stomp. To be honest with you, I mean it did, but it wasn't Seth. That guy had way more muscles than Seth. But let's get it going. Obviously, we're Survivor Series was at Petco Park. And they had all hands on deck. They had Joe Tessitore, Michael Cole, Wade Barrett, Big E, Jackie Redmond, Kathy Kelly. Everybody was in attendance. This was a big four. Obviously, you can see from my background, this was one of the matches I was looking forward to, and it was kind of blah to me. I mean, I'm not really. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I know about Liv. I still went 3-1 on my predictions. Obviously the Rock stuff and Cody going heel tonight. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I mean, I don't like the ending. I mean, I know it sets up the Mania build with Cody Roman, but here we go again. Cody Roman 3. I mean, you know, the Bloodline fans are not going to like it, obviously, because I think this is where we're going to finally get The Rock. You know, I keep saying it, but they have to pay the story off, and everybody turned on Cody tonight. I mean, Punk, Cody elbowed Punk during the match. Punk made a comment after the match. Roman said something to him. I couldn't really, you know, read the words that he said, but I mean, him and Punk like shook hands. So Roman's definitely coming after Cody's title. And I think Braun is going to be the one that comes after Punk's title. Obviously, he pinned him tonight. So it looks like we're going to get Roman Cody 3, which all the Bloodline fans are going to be happy about that. But I don't think Roman's beating Cody for the belt. So I think that's where we're going to see The Rock probably help Cody Rhodes. He's going to eventually have to sell his soul and go heel because everybody has turned on him. I mean, they all walked away from Cody tonight. So, like, the only person that hasn't turned on him yet is Randy Orton. And I'm sure that's coming too. So, Cody is not going to have any friends left. He is going to have no choice but to sell his soul. But let's get it started. Obviously, it's only 4 matches, but it's a pretty good bit to cover. The first match of the night was the Women's War Games match, which, in my opinion now, I think probably should have main evented. Shout out to World of Greg for reposting the stream. Wish the wait was sooner, but I found, especially being a Rock stan, I'm biased. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen at Saturday night's main event because that's all about Cena. He'll have his last match. I obviously was right on that he wasn't going to be going to Saturday night's main event. So I didn't miss a whole lot except for The Rock. That's pretty much the only thing that I didn't get right, and Cody not going heel tonight. But I did say Cena wasn't going to Saturday night's main event, the Intercontinental Champion, and he's not. I did say Liv Morgan was coming tonight. And she is. She has been medically cleared, so she is back, and she made a great return. And even WWE tried to emulate an Elimination Chamber with Liv, which was pretty. I mean, they had me for just a second when she slapped Dom because I was like, all right, she's still a little angry about what happened, you know, with Roxanne, like getting super close with Dom, and obviously Roxanne Raquel came out there with Dom, and I mean that was a pretty banger match. I mean, Dom kicked out of Cena's finishing move. I mean, I really felt bad for Cena because like he just really couldn't win for losing because Liv like that was like her childhood crush. So like she talked about how she turned, it was such an emulation of the turn from John Cena back at Elimination Chamber. But anyway, we'll get to that one when we get to that match. We opened up with the women's elimination chamber match, which the face team, which I predicted the face team to win. I know I picked the heels on my prediction show, but I had days to think about it, and I changed my mind and went with the faces because I just didn't think two heel teams were going to win both War Games matches. So AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley against Becky Lynch, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax. So this match probably should have main evented. It was crazy. WWE did a little bit different this year. They didn't have the shark cages out there with all the team in it, which kind of makes a little sense. It was a little chilly in Cali. Even for California, being in the 60s, that's a little chilly. I've been to California several times and Vegas, and 50s and 60 degrees in that area is a little bit chilly. And they were making their entrances through the dugouts at Petco Park, where the Padres play. So, and each participant brought something to the ring with them. And shout out to Charlotte Flair for what she had on tonight. Obviously, it was to match some, I think it was either a 6 or 7 year old little girl that has a brain tumor, which she met her, at the ring on her way down. So a lot of people that hate Charlotte Flair, that's something big that Charlotte did tonight. I feel like, she wore that gear, and obviously the representation for that little girl. So prayers out to that little girl. And I know that was a dream come true for her to meet the queen. So Charlotte and Asuka kick off the match. So the face team will have an advantage. So basically, after 3 minutes is up, it will be a 2-on-1 advantage for the face team. And then, once everybody's in the cage, if you try to escape the cage, then obviously it's a loss for your team. But we didn't have that happen tonight. All the members got in, both the women's and the men's, and we had a clear-cut pinfall in both of them. But that was the rules this year for Survivor Series, which it was outdoors. There was 45 or 46,000 in attendance. Man, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be emailing ESPN and Disney Plus tomorrow because during the main event, like my stream was like terrible. Like it was like cutting in and out, and it was just like, I don't know, like I missed like half of the main event, and I missed like majority of Dom and Liv's talking at the post conference. But I am excited about Liv being back. So Charlotte and Asuka start the match. The collar and elbows struggling around. Asuka gets a few body blows, smashes Charlotte's face into the turnbuckle, and tries to put her into the cage. But Charlotte blocks and smashes her face into the turnbuckle instead. Asuka applies a side headlock, shot off shoulder block, back and forth. Asuka gets Flair hung up in the ropes and hammers her with Kawada kicks. Out on the diamond plate between the rings, there's a waistlock applied. Charlotte breaks free with the back elbow up top. Asuka catches her with an alarm clock knee to the face on a dive. Laying chest kicks in, she ducked a punch, reverse roundhouse, and gets a thrust kick, and both women are down and out. So both of the ladies are down. We're waiting for that 3 minutes for the face team to get that 2-1 advantage. Charlotte calls over, and they trade elbows. Asuka with the advantage, a couple of kicks and punches. Off the ropes, we get a handspring lariat from Charlotte, and she is fired up. She's laying chops in, but Asuka counters with a fall-away slam, leading to a German suplex, a sliding kick, a hard whip, flare flip, kick over the ropes. Charlotte up top, jockeying for position as the countdown timer starts to tick. And it gets down to 1, and we get the second participant of the women's war game face team for the war games. And then out comes Io Sky, and she has a trash can lid in her hand, which Io has been known for the war games with the trash can off the top of the cage, and she definitely didn't disappoint tonight with that as well. So she started taking it to Asuka, corner knees with the trash can lid into the center of the ring. Io lands a drop toe hold into the diamond plate and grabs a kneeling armbar, grinding Asuka's face into the steel as the countdown timer ticks. So now we are going to be evened up with 2 against 2, and it is none other than the former Intercontinental Champion, the man, Becky Lynch, with a kendo stick in her hand. So we get into the action. She gets Io Sky being put into the Tree of Woe. She's taken it to her, but Charlotte Flair takes it away. Becky Lynch tries to play on their history, but Charlotte throws a right hand, and they start trading elbows. Becky's grinding down on Charlotte, stepping on her face. And then we get the countdown again. And so we get the 5th member, which will make it a 3-2 advantage for the face team. And out comes the goddess Alexa Bliss, which is now Charlotte's best friend. Bliss goes right after Asuka. She hits her with the Nodoa Otashi over to Lynch, hammer and palm strikes, and a big knee lift. Working together with Charlotte, double teams, dragon screws on both Asuka and Becky. Stereos, both of them hit the natural selection, which I love to see that. Also, they get both of them into the corner, and both delivering punches in the corner. Io Sky returns to the fray with the Shotas for everyone off the top. Group hug, grinding the heels down in the corners as the countdown timer ticks away. So now we are back even, 3-3, and out comes Kairi Sane. And she has a chain, I believe. She was a neon green chain. Kairi Sane, she comes in with the neon green chain. She loads her fist. She hits the poetry in motion punch to Alexa off Charlotte Flair's back, kicking at Charlotte, drawing her up in the turnbuckles for a hanging head scissors. Back up top, diving loaded punch, and she windmills the chain. Sky grinding a knee into Asuka into the turnbuckles. Kairi comes over and takes her head off with the trash can lid so the Empress can land a missile drop kick. So the baby faces are stacked up. We get some more stereo drop kicks, and the countdown timer kicks down to 0. And out comes the 7th participant, making it a 4-3 advantage. Out comes AJ Lee, which was a shock to me because I thought she may be last, but I knew it was going to be AJ or Rhea, obviously. So Becky frantically tries to hold the door closed, but AJ says to hell with that and climbs the cage to get inside, similar to what CM Punk did last year. Fending off the Kabuki Warriors with kicks and a diving crossbody, stalking after Lynch, who runs, but AJ Lee catches her and puts her into the turnbuckles corner to corner, throwing Becky into the cage wall. Kairi Sane recovers and cuts her off, but AJ wipes her out with an elbow. Dropkick puts her into the cage, back and forth. They're brawling as the countdown timer ticks down again. So now we are even with the 8 participant, which is going to make it 4-4, is Nia Jax. Nia hits the ring, hits a hip attack. After hip attack, tossing Sky up for a hard elbow to the face. She hits a freight train on AJ Lee before pulling Io off the cage wall for a massive power bomb by Nia Jax, which was pretty impressive. All the heels have a baby face to work over as the countdown timer ticks down. And this was probably the loudest pop in the women's match period. AJ Lee's was pretty loud, but Rhea's was deafening. I mean, I wasn't there, but just listening to it on the app, it was really loud. So Rhea Ripley comes out to give the baby faces a 5-4 advantage, and she has that protective mask. She looks like Art the Clown. She's carrying a trash can and a sack full of goodies to bring to the ring. Kendo sticks and all kinds of stuff. So Rhea starts taking it to everybody, drop kicks. Asuka slings her over the ropes but gets kicked down. Rhea off the top, missile drop kick to Nia Jax, catching Kairi with the back suplex facebuster, helping Io up and directing traffic. Rhea grabs the prison lock on Kairi Sane. Sky puts a trash can over her head, off the ropes, head of steam, drop kick to the steel, but Nia immediately freight trains the both of them. Alexa Bliss up top. It hits a diving tornado DDT on Nia as the countdown timer kicks, and we will get our 10th participant. And once she gets in the ring, our War Games match has began, and it is Lash Legend, who just got engaged. Congratulations to her and Trick Williams on their engagement yesterday. I saw it on X and a lot of other places, so congrats to them. Lash Legend starts tossing Io around, drops AJ Lee with a vicious elbow, and then throws her into the cage wall. Catching a crossbody from Alexa, using her as a weapon against Flair, putting her in a sleeper hold and swinging her around before chucking her aside like a sack of potatoes. She hits a big choke slam on Charlotte. Io Sky dives at her, and Lash cuts her off mid-air with an elbow. Squaring up with Ripley, which I think that was a big tease for an upcoming match in the future with Rhea Ripley and Lash Legend. You could kind of see them, going back and forth. I appreciate that, Greg, for reposting the stream. We are not live on Miami's X. He was reported by someone, so hopefully they can get that squared away. But we're just live on my YouTube and X tonight. Unfortunately, somebody reported Miami while he was doing a watch along. So whoever they are, they're cowards, and they need to stop with that business. It's ridiculous. I mean, my account will probably get reported next. So, I mean, hopefully not. Cross our fingers. I don't like it that Miami is reported, but hopefully they can get that squared away. So I think we're going to see a Rhea Lash at some point. I do think Rhea Ripley is going to move on from this program. And, they teased it Friday on SmackDown. Damian needs some help with Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. And I feel like the Terror Twins, they worked together for a long time. So it makes sense for Rhea to team up with Damian, at least for that little small feud with Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. I thought Lola Vice might fill the void, but she's pretty still caught up in NXT. Obviously, she's in the Iron Women's match at Deadline coming up next weekend. So I'm looking forward to NXT this week and Deadline next weekend. So Lash and Rhea square up. Rhea sidesteps a pump kick, and they trade right hands. A front kick, face breaker. Lash Legend, let's see. Zelina, Aleister beating them. Well, yeah, I know you're a big Zelina fan. I mean, they may. You never know. WWE's booking. You just can't never tell. I don't have any info on that. I just know that Rhea is going to work that program with Priest against those two, instead of Lola Bites. But Lola is dating Damien in real life, obviously. So Legend hits a back elbow, knocks her down, Enzuigiri from the mat. Lash plants her with a power bomb, rolls her through for a pump kick cover. Doesn't get the pin. Rhea with the headbutt, a pump handle. Nia Jax comes over and saves Lash Legend. So Becky Lynch applies the manhandle slam to AJ Lee and gets a near fall. Io Sky breaks it up. Nia and Lash double teaming her, double military press. They throw Io into her teammates into the other ring. Asuka gets Io in an inverted face lock, Saint off the top with the elbow drop. So they hit the finisher. Appreciate that, Greg, for reposting the stream. We have about 70 people in here right now. We hit about close to about 300 last night for the SmackDown stream. So I couldn't really get the word out because I literally got on here like right before I missed the whole post show. Well, not the whole, but majority of it. Let's see. I gotta support Zelina Vega, friend support. Anyways, I'm tired night, Pam. I'll say goodnight, GT. Yeah, good night, Billy. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you, Greg. So Asuka ends up spitting the mist. Rhea Ripley ducks, and it goes into Lash Legend's face, which was a turning point of this matchup. Rhea Ripley ducks, and Lash Legend gets a face full of mist. Becky rushes Charlotte and gets elbowed. Flair, Charlotte, and Rhea work together. They hit the DX crotch chops, and then they hit the double suplex on Nia. Alexa comes off the top rope with the twisted bliss on Nia, and they're high-fiving all around. Io up top. AJ tries to hand her the trash can, but she's a little too short, so she gets on Rhea's shoulders and hands Io the trash can. Io puts the trash can over her head like she does every year when she's in a War Games match, and she jumps off the top of the cage and she hits a senton atomico off the top and into all of the hills except for Becky. So Becky is basically all alone left in the match. Lynch looks super stunned after that senton atomico off the top from Io Sky. Alexa Bliss hits her. Becky slips out, runs away, climbing the cage, but Charlotte Flair pulls her down and throws her into a right hand from Alexa. And then Rhea hits a riptide. And then AJ Lee applies the Black Widow on Becky Lynch. With that being said, Becky Lynch tapped out. So we have our winners of our first match and our Women's War Games match. AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley with a submission with a Black Widow from AJ Lee on Becky Lynch. Like I said, for me, it was a match of the night. I think it should have main evented. If I would have known what was going to happen in the main event, then I would have preferred to see this match at the main event. But we knew it wasn't going to main event. I don't really know where they go from here. I mean, obviously, Rhea probably is going to go into a program with Damien. It's definitely setting up an AJ Becky singles match. This is 2 times in a row that Becky's tapped out to the Black Widow. The first time at WrestlePalooza, and then this time tonight at Survivor Series. So AJ has made her submit 2 times in a row. So yeah, it's definitely something going to go down with that. With them two. As far as everybody else, I don't really know the direction that they're headed going into Saturday night's main event and the Royal Rumble. So after that, they showed various celebrities in the crowd. I think they showed like Topanga. I don't know if you remember her. and various UFC fighters. They may have shot some football players. I'm not sure. I know they showed a couple of San Diego Padres baseball players as well. So the next match was probably my favorite of the night. It was the Never Seen 17, which I predicted way earlier, and on the prediction show, you can go back and watch on the EVP show when I had Director Reg and the World of Greg on. I picked Dominic Mysterio, and I said John Cena would not be going to Saturday Night's main event with the Intercontinental Championship. He has one match remaining, and he will be facing the winner of the Last Time Is Now tournament. And there's 4 people left in that, which is Jay versus LA Knight, which will happen Monday on Raw, or Gunther and Solo. Those are the 4 people left, and both of those semifinal matches will be happening on Raw Monday. So we get Dominic Mysterio coming out with a mask on. Obviously, he still has his AAA title. He is accompanied by Roxanne Perez and Raquel. And as soon as they come out, I said, yep, Liv is showing up 100%. This is the last big PLE for John Cena. So it was a little emotional. The announcers were emotional. Backstage, people were emotional. I'm sure John was emotional. The crowd really showed up for John tonight. What a career. Over 100, or right at exactly 100, I think it is, PLE wins for John Cena. So he is undoubtedly the GOAT. So this is for the Intercontinental Championship that John Cena just won a couple of weeks ago. As I've been telling people in GC chat, TKO is not with these long title reigns anymore. They are putting these titles on people for just justification reasons, and whether they're working hard or they're making money for the company at that point in time. So they're getting their kind of moment in the sun. Obviously, this was for Cena because the Intercontinental Championship was the only title that Cena has not won, and he completed the Grand Slam. So Cena held the Intercontinental Championship not even a full 2 weeks. So the match starts off John Cena with a side headlock into the takeover. Rey Mysterio gets away and distracts referee Chad Patton, while Roxanne Perez trips John Cena up. There's a lot of interference in this match. Dominic's posing up on the turnbuckles, which he is the greatest luchador, and he's also the greatest Mysterio of all time. I love Dom. So Cena's fighting back with punches. Dominic's putting the boots to John in the corner. Raquel Rodriguez, while the ref is distracted, pops up and hits a cheap shot on John while Dom is arguing with Chad and gets a cover of 2. He's looking for the 3 Amigos. He hits the 3 Amigos on John Cena, tribute to Eddie Guerrero, RIP Eddie, and he gets a count of 2 as well. So he continues to put the boots to John in the corner. John Cena mounts a comeback, and Dominic Mysterio bails to the floor and hides behind Roxanne and Raquel. John turns away, and Dom rushes in and cheap shots him, and he continues to pose. Dominic was doing a lot of posing tonight. Posing on the steel step, taunting the crowd off the barricade. Frankensteiner countered into a powerbomb, and Mysterio comes up clutching his shoulder. At that point, the announcers, people that I'm talking to in chats thought, oh, God, here we go again with an injury, similar to what happened to Penta Monday night. But little do we know, Dominic is being like Eddie with the lie, cheating, steal, and he was playing possum the whole time. He was clutching his shoulder, but I thought he was hurt for a second. Chad Patton checks on him, goes back into the ring to confer with John about it before going back to the floor and calling for a medic. With Patton distracted, Raquel hits the one-arm powerbomb on Cena in the ring. Roxanne does a "you can't see me" to John and hits the pop rocks, putting him on the second. Dominic miraculously recovers and gets inside and hits the 619. Off the top rope, he hits the frog splash and was going to go for the pin. But referee Chad Patton doesn't count the pin and admonishes that Dominic for his shenanigans, saying he wasn't playing this mess, like faking an injury and stuff is not cool. So Roxanne and Raquel get on the apron to protest, and Chad Patton ejects Roxanne and Raquel from ringside. So they're out of here. But that's not all of the shenanigans we're going to see. So Cena ducks a punch, shoulder block, another shoulder block, a fall forward Blue Thunder driver, and then he does the You Can't See Me. He hits a 5-knuckle shuffle, a fireman's carry counter to a sunset flip, and then we get a kick out. Dom kicks out at 2. John puts the SCF on in the middle of the ring, but Dominic Mysterio gets to the rope for the break and hangs on for dear life. Unzipping his boot, Cena takes it off him. We hit a drop toe hold. It gets him the 619 off the top. And then Dom hits his finisher, the frog splash off the top. But Super Cena kicks out. So we got Michael from kicking out at 2. Shout out to Gimmick Table Media. More shenanigans than this than in Super Troopers. I agree. It had a lot of shenanigans. And I did put in you guys' chat. I said, here comes Liv. For the people that said I didn't know anything that was going to go on. And Michael was like, yep, you're right. But shout out to Michael. He will be on my NXT Deadline prediction show along with Lady Alpha from I am so bad with my memory, so bad. Obviously you can find Lady Alpha on the YouTube channel on her page. I'm terrible with remembering right now. I have like 100 things going on, trying to figure out what's going on with people's exes and stuff. But yeah, give them guys a follow. Good to see you here, Michael. So Cena kicks out of the frog splash. What's going on, Stampede? House of Torture antics in WWE. Yes, it was. I agree 100%. Yeah, it was bad. I was not happy with the whole PLE as a whole. Honestly, really wasn't. Since they've moved to ESPN, I don't know. I just was not happy with that main event. I think it could have been a lot better. It felt very rushed to me. Stampede. They call Stampede the Human Dictionary, if you don't know already. Good to see you, Stampede. First time in the EVP stream. Welcome. Always welcome here. So John gets him up into the fireman's carry, attitude adjustment, but Dominic kicks out, which at that point I thought John was winning. I was like, all right, this is it. But Dom kicks out. They start trading punches in the middle of the ring. Dominic sidesteps and sends Chad Patton crashing to the floor. At this point, I'm like, all right, so here's the ref bump. Here comes some more shenanigans. And surely enough, it was. No referee, and out comes the rest of Judgment Day. Finn Balor and JD McDonough. They run down to save Dom. They start putting the boots to John. He mounts a comeback. He stacks him up in the corner, similar to what he did back at earlier WrestleMania. I think it was with Edge and the Big Show, where he hits a double attitude adjustment on JD and Finn Balor, which that was cool to see from John. So Dominic outside, lurking as always, gets the title belt and lays in wait. Cena ducks the belt, hits the fireman's carry, another attitude adjustment, but there's still no referee. At that point, I even said in the GC chat that I was talking in, I said there's like a cameraman that's like standing right there by the entrance. So like I could tell like somebody was coming out. And obviously like way earlier, I said Liv is gonna be back. She is medically cleared to return to action. So it was good to see that she come back. And I said Liv Morgan music to it. First, I was like, well, is she going to be upset with Dom for all the antics, as far with Roxanne, or is she gonna, is she coming back as a face? Because she definitely had a new look. Liv looked amazing. Rehab went well, so I'm super glad to see Liv Morgan back. She slides in the ring, and as Dom struggles to get back to his feet, definitely all smiles, but Liv slaps the living crap out of Dom. At that point, I'm like, holy crap, like she's going to cost Dom. But here we go again with another small swerve. So, like I said earlier at the beginning of the stream, Liv definitely was like replaying back the Cena heel turn at Elimination Chamber on Cody. She like jumped up into Cena's arm, wraps her leg around him, and like hugs him. And John's like not knowing what the hell's going on. And then she gives that evil ass look that Cena gave before he low blowed the hell out of Cody Rhodes. She jumps on Cena, hugs him before dropping down and kicking him in between the legs. So there's a 619 belt. There was a belt shot from Liv, and then Dominic hits the 619 off the top rope with a frog splash. Liv Morgan gets Chad Patton back up into the ring for the 1, 2, 3. And we have a new Intercontinental Champion, which is not too new to me because obviously Dom was the champion 2 weeks ago and had been champion for a while, Intercontinental Champion for a while. But like I said, they did put the title on Cena so that he could complete that Grand Slam, and they put it right back on Dom. So John Cena will be going into his last match, whether it's going to be against Jey Uso, LA Knight, Gunther, or Solo Sikoa at Saturday night's main event on December 13th, and it will not be for the Intercontinental Championship. I picked Gunther at the beginning of the way before the tournament started, so I'm going to stick with that pick. He retired Goldberg at Saturday night's main event, and I feel like he's going to do the same thing to Cena. I do think Gunther faces Cena at Saturday night's main event. I could be wrong. I was wrong tonight, but I just don't think it's going to be Jay. I think if Gunther beats Solo Monday, I think it's going to be Gunther LA Knight. I do think it's going to be Gunther though. It just makes the most sense. They were supposed to, there's a little bit of story there. I mean, Gunther doesn't need it. That's why there's no title involved. So I think it's going to be Gunther. But Dominic Mysterio win by pinfall, and we have Liv Morgan back, which I'm excited to see moving forward. What is going to go on? Obviously, with the outcome of the next match, will Liv Morgan be immediately pushed into that world title scene? I know she's in for a major push. I didn't think she was coming back into the Rumble, but they definitely pushed it up earlier. I thought she may win the Royal Rumble and get a shot at the Women's Championship at WrestleMania, but she may get a shot before then at Stephanie Vacour. So I think Vacour needs to be on the lookout for Liv Morgan now. So post-match, Liv Morgan celebrates with Mysterio. She is carrying one of his belts, which I think was the IC belt. And then Dom has his AAA belt. The camera hangs back with John Cena as he soaks in a round of thank you Cena chants. And all of us here at the EVP show want to say thank you to John Cena. I mean, so many matches over his career, so many Survivor Series. I had a feeling going into tonight he was going to lose, and I do have a feeling he's going to lose that Saturday night's main event. But what a career. 17-time world champion, Grand Slam champion, absolutely 100%. Whether he's one of my favorites or not, he is the GOAT of professional wrestling. I'm going to be a little emotional watching him on Saturday night's main event. So I look forward to that. I don't look forward to him retiring, but I do look forward to that event. I'm sorry, I didn't see Michael. Yes. So Lady Alpha is at the Wrestling Divas podcast. So Michael and Lady Alpha will be on the NXT Deadline Prediction Show Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So give Kicking Out at 2 podcast and Wrestling Divas podcast, and make sure you give them a subscription on YouTube and a follow on X as well. Also, Talk It Up Wrestling as well on YouTube. Appreciate that, Michael. Sorry, I just saw it in the comments. See, I told you Stampede's the dictionary. That's why they call him the dictionary. 2,319 career matches for John Cena. That is unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was in the 2000 Stampede, but I didn't know the exact number. I know he had 100 PLE wins, which is like second all time behind the Undertaker. So like he's the GOAT. I mean, just that he has all the accolades. And do you got maybe somebody in the comments can answer if they're still watching, obviously. Do you guys think it's going to be too soon to put Cena in this year's Hall of Fame class? Or do you think I just don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it this year. I don't think they're going to do it in Saudi next year at 43. I mean, he is retiring in December. So, like, I think they would have time to put him in this year. Like, I would put him in this year in Vegas. I think he deserves to go in this year with Stephanie already going in. I don't want to see him go into the Hall of Fame in Saudi Arabia at 43. So that's crazy accomplishment. I'll put this up again. 2,319 career matches for John Cena, and Saturday night's main event will make it 2,320. He will call it a career at 2,320 career matches. Appreciate that, Stampede. That is astonishing number. So up next, obviously you can see is my background, which I found it on the internet, but I really like it. So yeah, I was not happy with this match at all. It was the only match that I lost on predictions. I picked Nikki Bella. I'll get into it once we'll go over it. So we're gonna have Stephanie Bakor, who has been the women's Raw champion for a little over 70 days when she defeated Io Sky at WrestlePalooza. She also was the one that, let's see, appreciate that, Greg. She also was the one. Okay, hold on just 1 second. This year works well. Amount it at the next Raw after Saturday night's main event. Announce it. Yes. I think it needs to be this year. Let's not wait and put Cena in the Hall of Fame in Saudi. Let's do it this year in Vegas. I agree, Michael. Shout out to Michael kicking out 2 podcasts and Gimmick Table Media as well, as 2 of them will be on the NXT Deadline Show Wednesday, which you guys will want to check out. So let's get to the third match. Stephanie Bakor has been on fire since hitting the main roster. She won the vacated women's title that Naomi vacated at WrestlePalooza by defeating, in my opinion, pound for pound, the best female wrestler on the planet, Io Sky. And then she is the one that ended Tiffany Stratton's undefeated streak in 2025 when she beat her at Crown Jewel. So I don't know what they're doing. They turned Jade Cargill heel to beat Tiffany Stratton for that title, and they turned Nikki Bella heel for this match. So I said it after the match. I think it was kind of a wasted heel turn. I thought we were getting Brie Bella back tonight. She's coming back at some point. I thought it was tonight. I mean, I watch all of their podcasts, so like I follow stuff really closely. I don't know. I don't think this is the end with them two. I think maybe they run it back at Saturday night's main event. We'll see. I'm not really sure. Or maybe this was a one-off for them. Maybe Nikki and Brie maybe try to go after the women's tag titles. I don't know. But I just feel like once I go through the match, I'll tell you. But I kind of feel like, let's see, this night's leading to a Brie coming back Monday. Yes, I mean, very possible. I think that's very possible. I do think that, Michael, that they are going to run this back at Saturday night's main event. I mean, it's John Cena's last event. They're going to have a bunch of NXT against WWE stars at that event as well. I think that would be a good place for them to run it back. I still think for some reason that they got to pay this off. I know a lot of people are not happy with it and don't want to see Nikki with the title. It doesn't have to be a super long reign, but it's been over 10 years since she held a women's championship, but she held the Divas title for over 300 days. But if you're going to turn her heel, like, I feel like you got to pay it off. And they definitely didn't pay it off tonight. But hopefully we see Brie back Monday. If not, maybe if they do the rematch at Saturday night's main event. So we get Nikki Bella out first with her new gear, which I absolutely love. Nikki looked phenomenal tonight. For her age and how long she's been in the business, Nikki looked great. She did look a little gassed towards the end of the match, but she looked great. Stephanie's great as always. I love Stephanie. I'm not knocking her. She's just got years and years of main events and world titles. She's going to win so many championships in WWE. Nikki is on her last run. That was the only reason why I thought that they were going to pull the trigger and put the title on Nikki Bella. We're at 99 viewers. We are right at the 100 mark. Thank you to the people that's tuning in on the EVP show and on my X. Unfortunately, we are not on Miami's X as it was reported. Hopefully, he can get that straightened out. But I'm normally streaming to his X as well. Stampede says if they do run Nikki and Stephanie back, will they give Nikki any wins leading up to it? I think they need to, Stampede, but I just don't know if they're going to have enough time. I mean, if they run it back at Saturday night's main event, it's only in 2 weeks. But I mean, I guess if they're going to run it back at the Rumble, I think they do need to give Nikki, like, she needs to get like a signature win. She has not gotten a signature win since she's been back on this run. So, like, I do feel like them turning her heel, like, in order to get that title shot back, like, she needs to get a win. So, yes, I think that they should. Now, will they? You know WWE's booking Stampede like I do. You're the dictionary, but this is a good point. Will they give Nikki any wins? I mean, I don't know. But 1,000,000% they should. She needs to get a signature win on one of these wrestlers that's a part of the era that's going on right now. Not, you know, what she did back in the Divas. I'm not knocking her. She's a Hall of Famer. Her sister's a Hall of Famer. But she does need to get a signature win, I think. So she comes out in new gear. And then we see Stephanie Vacour looking great as always. So Nikki is 1-4 in singles matches in 2025. That is terrible. That's a good. Appreciate you putting that stat up there. I knew she had won one match, but I don't remember who she beat. But I know so she's 1-3 as a face and 0-1 as a heel in 2025. But she is now 1-4 in singles matches. Well, I was just talking about this Stampede last night on the SmackDown review or recap. You know, Roxanne, she lost 56 matches this year. I think we might have talked about it on the prediction show, but that is crazy. That's a lot of losses for Roxanne. So we get the match started off. Nikki with a cheap shot off the gate. Off the rope, Stephanie Vacour blasts her with a drop kick and smashes her face into the turnbuckles over and over again. We get a running leg drop, headbutts in the corner, out to the floor. Nikki lands an X Factor on the floor and throws her back inside. Back inside, we get shoulder blocks in the corner, snap suplex connects, and this Nikki goes for the cover. And she only gets a count of 1. So Nikki Bella defeated Chelsea Green July the 14th. Wow, that's a pretty good victory for Nikki. Because Chelsea's a big star right now. Obviously she's the first and the fourth ever women's U.S. champion, and also one half of the AAA mixed tag champions. And Chelsea, just signed a 5-year deal, so they have at least given Nikki a win. I know she has losses against Asuka, Stephanie Vacour, Roxanne, and I believe maybe Raquel. I think that's the 4 that's maybe beat her one-on-one. She needs to get another win, though, to answer your question for sure. So after she hits the X Factor on the floor, she gets they get back inside. She has shoulder blocks in the corner, a snap suplex, connect, cover for 1. So we get a single knee face breaker. Nikki's pressing the attack, choking her in the ropes with the head scissors. Nikki goes for her own devil's kiss. So she's trying to hit Stephanie with her own move, but it's blocked a little back and forth. And Stephanie goes for her own devil's kiss, but Nikki rolls to the ropes to block and snaps her neck over the ropes to the boot. We get back inside. Stephanie Vacour meets her with a super kick, and both women are down and out. Stephanie mounts a comeback with a folding press for a 2 count, a dragon screw in the corner. She hits the SVB on the Stephanie Vacour finisher. She connected on it. But Nikki kicks out, which at that point I'm like, all right, well, Stephanie just hit one of her finishers, one of her main finishers. Nikki kicks out. But I mean, it was pretty. The match didn't go as long as I anticipated it to go. But I thought, like, just at that point in time, I was like, all right, Nikki may have a chance if there's going to be interference, obviously, with Stephanie. I mean, with Brie or somebody coming to help her cheat. So, but Nikki did kick out of the SVB, I'm sorry. So then in the corner lariat, Nikki's down and out. Corner knees from Stephanie Vacour. Nikki Bella ends up getting hits the rack attack, her finisher, the rack attack 2.0. But when she went down, Stephanie Vacour was positioned too close to the right side of the ropes, and so she ended up with a foot on the rope after a 2 count. You got to make sure when you hit that finisher, it's in the middle of the ring, Nikki. You know better than that. So they get out on the announce desk, and Stephanie Vacour is taking it to Nikki on the outside. She hits the devil's kiss on the announce desk, which was wild. She gets her back in the ring. She hits a back suplex and another devil's kiss. And Nikki is very disoriented at this point. Stephanie Vacour off the top rope. She hits the spiral tap for the 1, 2, 3. So Stephanie Vacour wins and retains the WWE Women's World Championship. So like I said, going into this, I really thought that Nikki was going to get her moment. She said it on her podcast and also in several interviews. She is on her last run. So I don't know where she goes from here. I'm thinking, like Michael said, could possibly see Brie show up on Raw, or they could possibly run this match back at Saturday Night's Main Event, and Nikki could have maybe like a short title reign or something like that. So, but I will say the match wasn't terrible, but Nikki was super winded at the end. But Nikki looked great though. Like, she really did. She looked phenomenal tonight. Maybe not up to speed with the caliber of the women's division now, like wrestling wise, but like physique wise, Nikki looked phenomenal, for sure. So they announced the attendance as 46,016, which is a Survivor Series record. Now, I will say WWE is really bad about stretching the numbers on their attendance. They do that every PLE, but it was a lot of people there. And that's what I said on After the Slam podcast last week was people have to stop bitching about TKO because when they're selling out arenas, buying merch, then they're not going to budge on these prices. So, 46,000 people. No telling how many people have paid to watch it with either the ESPN app or however they're streaming it. All the merch sales that was probably bought there. I mean, people flying all over the country. Somebody flew 20 hours to sit front row to watch Cody Rhodes. It's can't really say anything when you're forking that money out. TKO is just going steady climb them prices up. So we get to the main event of the night, which is the men's War Games match, and the heel will have the advantage. We're going to have the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, and the Vision, Braun Breaker, and Big Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul going up against CM Punk, the Raw men's heavyweight champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, the undisputed SmackDown men's heavyweight champion, the Bloodline main event, Jey Uso and his brother Jimmy Uso, as well as the OTC1, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. So like I said, they're not doing the shark cages. They're all doing separate entrances. That's why this show took forever, because these big stars took forever to get to the ring. So CM Punk and Braun Breaker start off the match. Collar and elbow, Breaker forces him down in the corner. They separate back to the lockup. This time Braun just throws him cold right across the ring. Shot off, shoulder block, forehead to forehead. Breaker scoop and a slam. Punk's throwing punches, backing him into the corner, hammering away. Braun cuts him off. Military press, but CM Punk slips out. We get some leg kicks from some probing leg kicks from CM Punk at Braun Breaker, and then a diving double axe handle. Braun fires back with a back body drop, hits some grounded punches up in the turnbuckle, and Punk drops him with a diving lariat. Breaker looks around, blinking in surprise, struggling, and the countdown timer ticks. So now take into consideration that the heel team it does have the advantage, so they will always be a man up until we get to 5-on-5. The third person to come out is a Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. Punk meets McIntyre with body blows. Drew fires back a front kick, and he and Braun pinball CM around with punches. Punk with a rising knee on Braun Breaker. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore and gouges at CM Punk's eyes. Then he launched Punk into the steel cage wall. I think this is the point where maybe Punk was busted open, because he was cut open pretty good. So he's staying on him as the countdown timer ticks down. So now the face team gets their second member, which I was a little surprised he came out this early, but it's the other World Heavyweight Champion, undisputed champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, is the fourth person to enter. Cody Rhodes decides to climb his way in over the top of the cage. He dives off the cage with a crossbody on Drew McIntyre. He gets him on the ground with punches. Breaker pulls him off, but Cody immediately breaks away for a Cody cutter and instinctively elbows. They say it was on accident, but I mean, Cody saw him standing behind, and this is where I'll definitely talk about this after this match. Cody elbows CM Punk, which CM Punk is bloodied at this point. But they say it was an accident, but I don't think it was. They jaw at each other. CM shoves Cody away from Drew, and Rhodes jumps on McIntyre's back. Punk off the ropes with a heart attack. Cody's directing traffic. The electric chair doomsday device on Braun Breaker. Punk calls for the bionic elbow, and Rhodes whips Drew into it. Taking turns with turning jabs, the countdown timer ticks. So now we will have the fifth member and the third member for the heel team, which is the Maverick Logan Paul. Logan Paul gets a pair of chairs from under the ring and brings them in with him, ramming one into Cody's gut and dropping him into the other with a gallon throw. off the ropes, diving crossbody from one ring into another on CM Punk. So Logan Paul, like him or hate him, he can definitely fly around that ring. His athleticism is uncanny, and he can go in the ring. Rhodes is back in the fight, punching away. Logan climbs the cage, and Cody is right behind him. They trade right hands atop the cage. Brian Breaker cuts Cody Rhodes off with a chair, and then Drew wallops Punk across the back with the chair. Braun scrapes Cody's face against the cage wall, and Logan Paul and McIntyre with a double suplex on CM Punk into stereo kip-ups, and the countdown timer kicks. So here comes the third person from the face team, and it is Jimmy Uso. So Jimmy uses the door as a weapon and slides a table out from under the ring to bring in with him. He delivers a super kick to Drew, one for Brian Breaker, and a Samoan drop on Logan Paul. Brian cuts him off, whip to the corner, boot, Big Jim up off the top, whisper in the wind, and he is fired up at this point. McIntyre hits a freight train out of nowhere and throws Cody Rhodes into the wall of the cage. So CM Punk finally comes to, it recovers, cuts Drew off, stomps to the midsection. Brian Breaker off the ropes with a lariat on Jimmy Uso. Brian steps up and snaps off an avalanche Frankensteiner on Cody. So it's a lot of brawling as the countdown timer ticks, and we get our fourth member of the Hill team, which is Big Bronson Reed. Reed right off the top with a 747 splash on CM Punk. Also with a 747 splash on Jimmy Uso. And then he hits the 747 splash on Cody Rhodes. He hits the corner body avalanche on Jimmy. So McIntyre smashing Punk into the cage wall over and over, blasting him with a boot. Jimmy Uso slips out of a Death Valley driver, throwing super kicks with abandon, but Bronson bowls him over with a lariat as the countdown timer ticks down. And we have our fourth member of the face team, 8th overall, main event, Jey Uso. So main event, Jey Uso comes in cleaning house with super kick. We had a super kick party going on in there, and then they hit him and Jimmy hit the 1D, courtesy of Devon, the Dudley brothers or Dudley boys, the 1D on Logan Paul. Jey runs it back, and the countdown timer. Obviously, Jey stops in the middle of the match, hits his music again for a while, yeets, and then he yeets until that timer goes off, and out comes the ninth person, the last person for the Hill team, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. At that point, Jey Uso stopped yeeting. Lesnar comes in, throwing suplexes left and right, F5 on Jimmy Uso, one on Punk as well, one for Cody. Just raining down violence on everybody at length before getting out of the ring. So we get the 10th person in, which is the OTC1. He's out, but the match has not begun because Roman and Brock Lesnar start fighting in the aisleway. Roman is hammering Brock with Superman punches. 3 land clean, but the 4th sees him caught. And F5 through the announce desk. Back inside, finally, the match beyond begins. Lesnar covers Roman, but Cody Rhodes breaks it up. He had to go to sleep in Crossroads, double cover, but Logan Paul breaks it up. So at that point, Paul Heyman slips Logan the brass knuckles. He loads his fist, but Roman spears him out of his boots. So Logan Paul hit everybody and was getting ready with the brass knuckles. He was getting ready to hit Roman, but Roman hit the spear on Logan and takes the knucks off him. So Roman loads his fist. He throws Reed into the corner. Superman punch takes him out. One for Drew. Breaker takes the straps down and says, he told Roman, "Come here, you son of a bitch," is what he told him. He runs 150 miles an hour both ways, but then the OTC1 Tribal Chief, Roman, hits Braun Breaker. He hits him with the spear. So Jay directs traffic and gets Brock up. Roman calls for it. Brock gets the fireman's carry on Jey Uso. Reigns charges and spears Brock Lesnar through the table, but Jey Uso was on top, but he didn't take the full brunt of it, but he took a little bit. Brock went through the table. Jimmy helps Roman up, and Braun spears him for his trouble. Cody Rhodes is hammering Drew with punches, and Braun Breaker spears Jay. Drew with a low blow on Cody. Braun Breaker off the rope, head of steam, and spears the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Punk hits a go to sleep on Logan Paul as a mystery person that was suited in all black. We couldn't see who it was. Obviously, speculation is starting to run rampant all over X. I personally think that it is Austin Theory. I know I've heard Chris Jericho. I've heard Tony D'Angelo. It definitely wasn't Seth Rollins. I do believe it was Austin Theory. He'd been rumored to be joining the Vision for a while. Same build. That was definitely not the Seth Rollins stomp. So there's a mystery person that climbs right out of the ring, and he hits a stomp on CM Punk. Right, and then Breaker hits a spear and gets the 1, 2, 3 on CM Punk. So Braun Breaker pinned the Raw, the men's Raw heavyweight champion, the best in the world, CM Punk. Your winners of the men's War Games match is Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, and the Vision with a spear from Braun Breaker on CM Punk. Let's see if I got any new comments. Let's see. Theory is the right build. Jericho is too thick. I don't think would have. No, it was 100% not Chris Jericho. He would not have gotten up that cage that fast. I think it was Austin Theory. He'd been rumored to join the Vision for a while, so it makes a lot of sense for it to be Austin Theory. So post match, you see Reigns standing over Punk and Rhodes and waits for them to get up. Punk gets to his feet first and offers a fist bump, and Roman returns the favor. Rhodes gets to his feet and has an inaudible chat with Roman, which basically, let's see, Jericho would need a stair mat. Yeah, people that think it's Jericho, that's insane. It definitely was. I could see maybe Tony D because he has a similar build to Theory, but that was 100% Austin Theory. But yeah, that's funny, Stampede, for sure. So Rhodes and Roman exchanged words. I couldn't really make out what he said, and I'll kind of cover this for a little bit once I'm done. But he had some sort of chat with Roman, who steps to the ropes, eyeballs him. They have a few more words. Couldn't really make out what they were saying, but that was a show. But I did hear CM Punk say something like he motioned to the elbow to Cody. Like they all walked away from Cody. So, that pretty much sums up the show. That's how I went off the air. I wasn't very excited about that, about the way the show ended. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Like I said, I was definitely not expecting that at all. This is the last time we teamed together, is what Roman said to Cody, I believe. That makes sense. I'm going to get into that in just a second. I'm looking at a couple of things here. So, for me, I said this in the chat, I did think The Rock was going to show up tonight. I also thought that Cody was going to go heel. But they are really, really slow turning, slow building. This Cody Rhodes heel turn, you can see that everybody is starting to shun Cody. Triple H and everybody else has said this match tonight was going to ultimately, you got all those people sitting at that table for the WrestleMania commercial. So they're all going to fit in some form or fashion. Roman was on Raw Monday saying something about going after one of the titles. But everybody's shunning Cody. Like Punk said something about Cody elbowing him. Roman doesn't want anything else to do with Cody. The Usos kind of didn't even talk to Cody. Cody just looked like a lone wolf over there. So my take is this is where I think we're headed. Cody is running out of friends. He has no one except for Randy Orton, which I do believe Randy Orton is probably going to eventually turn on Cody Rhodes as well, and he's going to be left with no one, just like The Rock said that it was going to happen. And Cody's going to be forced to sell his soul to the final boss. I think if we're going to get Rock Roman, the only way we can do this is we got to have Cody Roman 3 at WrestleMania. I don't know how we get there. Maybe Roman wins the Rumble, but in Saudi. And then we do Cody Roman 3. We have The Rock cost Roman Reigns the match to set up the start of the build for Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia, because they've already said that they want all the past wrestlers, all the big name, all the big money. They're willing to pay out whatever it takes to get those huge matches over there for WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. So if they do turn Cody Hill, I hope they watch the New Japan heel run. He killed the heel character over there. He definitely did. It's time, Stampede, for Cody to go heel. And he's lost all of his allies. Nobody trusts him anymore. I mean, I thought it was going to happen tonight. I thought he was going to turn on him tonight. But it looks like The Rock has to be involved in this. He has to be involved in this. So I think we're headed for a Bryan CM Punk match. I think that might happen before WrestleMania. I don't know. I think Bryan's going to be the one to take the title off of Punk. And I do think that we are going to see Roman Cody 3 at WrestleMania 42. And I think The Rock cost Roman Reigns. And that is how and maybe he tells him, I'll see you next year at WrestleMania. Something like that. I don't know. I think that would be a great way to get this match that everybody's been clamoring for 3 or 4 years. Saudi Arabia is going to pay whatever it takes for it to happen. So for me, I think that could be the direction they're going. I just don't see Roman beating Cody Rhodes. I think Cody retains at WrestleMania, but I think he's going to cheat or have help from The Rock, and I think that's when we see the heel Cody Rhodes come out at WrestleMania. With that being said, that is the end of the Survivor Series recap. Shout out to DWE, Miami the Great. Obviously, having some issues on X, but definitely, hopefully, he gets it back up running soon. Definitely hit subscribe to Talk It Up Podcast. He was doing a watch along tonight when all this shenanigans happened. Final Boss Lady, Reg. Director Reg, obviously Greg, who helps me with all my videos for my streams and my podcast. Shout out to Stampede for showing up tonight. Obviously, Michael from Kicking Out at 2. Lady Alpha and Autumn also. I'm trying to get to the comment because I'm terrible with a memory, with the Wrestling Divas podcast. So definitely give all of them a follow. Give Stampede a follow. Shout out to Billy. Trying to see. Thank you, Greg, for reposting the stream. Let's see. Stampede has another comment. Cody's been running the same shtick since he got there, so it's grown pretty stale. Overdue to switch it up. I agree. I 1,000,000% agree. I don't know why they just don't pull the trigger. They're like, oh, he's gonna do it now. Let's put it off. For me, I'm ready for the Cody Hill turn. I'm interested to see what happens going forward on Raw. We're gonna have the 2 semifinal matches. In the last time is now tournament, Jey Uso going up against LA Knight and Gunther going up against Solo Sikoa, and then the fallout from Survivor Series. Maybe we will see who the masked person was that helped the Hill team win. I don't know. We will see. But yeah. So for me, I probably give Survivor Series maybe a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. I just wasn't very impressed. I think the Nikki Stephanie match, I wasn't crazy about it. I think the women's War Games match was phenomenal. Dom and Cena killed it. The men's match was good. I just didn't like the ending. I think it felt very rushed to me. But I actually am gonna go back and watch the men's match and the post show after this because my stupid apps, the ESPN and Disney Plus, was messing up. So I'm hoping I can go back in and watch the replay. So Stampede gave it a 5.75 out of 10. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. I was not that impressed. I have not been impressed with WWE since they moved to ESPN. I think they really hyped these PLEs up to make these people pay all this big money. And we get a 4-match card that lasts 4 hours. And we get an ending like that, a masked person, which is apparently Austin Theory. It looks, I would be willing to bet on it. He's joining the Vision. But shout out to Stampede. He is a human dictionary. So if he ever comes in your stream and you don't know a question, he will know. So shout out to Stampede for that. So I am going to go ahead and go to my outro video. And then I will be back. So you guys still stick around for a few minutes. I'm going to go to the outro video. I'll be back to tell you where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for you guys next week on the EVP show.
CJP's your guy, let's start the show. Tag teams breaking, factions shaking. He's got the scoop on moves they're faking. Belt on the line, dreams on display. The EVP show keeps the drama in play. It's good. Let's go where the heroes rise and the legends grow. CJP brings the shots. You know the EVP show is out of control.
All right, let's go. And shout out to everyone that was here tonight. Stampede, Michael, Greg, and the 104 people that we have watching live on the EVP show and my ex. I definitely appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Hopefully Miami gets his ex situation sorted out. I really hate that for him. People with this reporting stuff is just getting out of control. I think Greg was reported a couple weeks ago. Hopefully I'm not next. I don't wish that on anyone. So hopefully Miami was in the middle of a watch along. So hopefully he's able to get that sorted out. So obviously you can find me on my socials at the bottom of my screen here on X at EVPCJP. Give me a follow. On Instagram, it's at EVPCJP. I'm pretty active on Instagram now and TikTok. I'm doing a lot of promoting of the streams on there along with the World of Greg. On TikTok, you can find me at Brady, BRADY, DA, as in dog, A as in apple, goat, GOAT, all together, 21. So at Brady the Goat 21 on TikTok. And most importantly, if you haven't hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel, you can find it at the EVP show in all capital letters. And if you guys don't mind hitting that like button on the video tonight, and please give me a subscribe on the YouTube channel. Also subscribe to Kicking Out at 2. Subscribe to the Lady Alpha and them's podcast as well. Talk It Up Wrestling. Subscribe to everyone. DWE, give everybody a follow. When you guys give me my likes and comments, it puts my YouTube streams in the algorithm. So I appreciate that. Definitely give me a sub if you're not subscribing to my channel. The content that I have coming up tomorrow, I'll be off. It is Sunday. I'll be watching football all day, relaxing. I will be back Monday night at 11 p.m. for the Raw recap. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming to Miami's X if it's fixed by then. But definitely to my YouTube show, my YouTube channel, and my X. And then Tuesday, me and Miami will be back at 6 p.m. Eastern for the NFL recap week 13. About 4.5 hours later, Tuesday night, I will be back for the go home edition of the NXT recap at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll be covering the go home show for NXT right before NXT deadline. Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will have Michael from Kicking Out at 2 podcast and also Gimmick Table Media and Lady Alpha as well. I will have them on for the NXT PLE predictions that's coming up Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. Off Thursday, I will be back Friday for the SmackDown recap at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. And then Saturday, right after the NXT PLE goes off, I will be back Saturday night, just like I am tonight, at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT PLE recap show. So I got a busy week coming up. So yeah, I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Make sure to hit the like on the video tonight on my YouTube channel, and subscribe to everyone that I mentioned in the stream, and definitely hit that like and subscribe on the EVP show. That being said, I hope you guys enjoy Survivor Series. I'm going to go back and watch the end and maybe the post show and set my fantasy football lineup for tomorrow, and try to catch up on everything because I've been kind of tied up for like 4 hours with this show. So I hope everyone enjoys their Saturday night and their Sunday, and I will see you guys back Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the Raw recap. This is the EVP from the EVP show and the EVP of DWE and the Golden Boy. Shout out to DWE and Gimmick Table Media. You guys enjoy your Saturday and Sunday, and I will see you guys back here Monday. Also remember, always love one another. I'm out.